Your Steve Jones Show podcast is loading now. The Steve Jones Show podcast is sponsored by Purdy Insurance. Visit Purdy Insurance on Market Street in Sunbury or visit online at purdyinsurance.com. Sports talk where your voice counts. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Singleton to the right, two receivers left, two right. They show blitz off the edge. Clifford takes it, back to pass. Sean steps up, throws. Tinsley, touchdown, Penn State, back of the end zone. Richardson back. Here comes Brown. He steps away from him, delivers downfield, and intercepted. Jair Zaki Wheatley. Wheatley to the 30, 25, Wheatley to the 20. Wheatley breaks a tackle to the 15 and taken down there. The blitz created it, and Wheatley gets his second interception of the season. Allen behind Clifford. Play action rolls right. He's got Strange at the 5 to the far corner. Touchdown, Penn State. So far, Penn State has been clean and efficient. Wing left is Johnson. Kaytron Allen back in the game at running back. 2nd and 9, Central Michigan 14. It's Allen to his left to the 10. Kaytron 5. Touchdown, Penn State. The Nittany Lions retake the lead on the third touchdown of the season for Kaytron Allen. Hanover and Isaac are now the defensive ends. Blitz coming. Richardson hit by Brown as he throws for Carrier. Intercepted! Johnny Dixon gets the pick. And the Nittany Lions get the ball back with 1:05 to go in the half. And Johnny Dixon gets the interception for the Nittany Lions. That is his second career interception and his first as a Nittany Lion.
Coach, your offense was able to put up 21 points in the first half, but really without the benefit of the consistent running game you wanted. What has to happen to get the run game on track?
Well, they're playing a lot of cover zero, which means no safeties deep, 8 guys in the box. We got to be able to make them pay for doing that. Right now, we have not been able to do that consistently. When you play cover zero, it's an opportunity for huge plays on offense, or it can cause you some challenges if you don't pick it up consistently. We got to do a better job there.
I know it's not sexy to talk about special teams, but Barney Amore is a big reason why your team's in front right now. What has he meant to your football team?
Yeah, he's done a nice job. His first punt's got to be more consistent, but besides that, it was good.
Coach, good luck.
Thank you.
Amore takes the snap from Chris Stahl. Kicks it out of there. High twisting kick. Williams signals fair catch. Dropped it. Loose. Penn State's on top of it at the 8-yard line on the muff. Let's see if they finished it. Yes, they did. Penn State recovers. Now motion by Warren. Sets up as the fullback. Turns, play action fake, steps, throws far corner of the end zone, caught, touchdown, Penn State. Brenton Strange, the Nittany Lions now with a 2-score lead, and they have won the middle 8 again. Sean takes it. It's going to be Singleton to the 5, 10, 15. He's to the 20, lowers the shoulder over the 20 and barrels out to the 25 near the 26-yard line. 21 yards for Nicholas Singleton and a Penn State first down. Out of the pistol, it's going to be Allen to the 50, 45, 40, near sideline, 35, 30, 20, 15, and knocked out of bounds inside that 15-yard line. Kaytron Allen, they say he is out at the 14. Quarterback sneak, great surge, touchdown, Penn State. The Nittany Lions now lead it 33-14. Had the big game of 179 against Ohio, 124 last week against Auburn, and this is Kaytron Allen's day with 111 and a touchdown. And Sean Clifford threw for 213, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he ran for 1. And Penn State wins it 33-14. We'll come back with more in a moment. Today's game presented by the Penn State Bookstore.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is the Steve Jones Show, and it is yet another victory Monday for your 4-0, number 11th ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. Matt Catrillo back here with you. Thanks to all the fill-ins for me during the week last week while I was out. Nigel, Mark Stevens, thank you. Good to be back. Good to be talking about another Penn State win today. And Steve will soon be there from the Sunbury Motors studio. Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, Routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Ford, Kia, Hyundai, great selection of new and pre-owned inventory. And either way, you got a great sales staff that's not just there for the sale, but they're there for you to make sure you get the right car at the right price. And you have a service department that's there for your current vehicle with the diagnostics and with the inspections and all the routine maintenance. And with that service department comes the need for more entry-level and experienced technicians that are needed right now. Needed for quick lane, car and light truck service, heavy truck service, body frame and alignment, and towing departments. Whether you're an experienced technician, entry-level, looking for your first job, or maybe looking for your career change, they love to hear from you. Stop by in person, apply online at sunburymotors.com, or call Todd at 286-7746. And, of course, every Monday show brought to you by Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury, or go to purdyinsurance.com. Home, auto, life, business, whatever you need to make sure you're covered for whatever life brings you, they got you set. They are the true pros with insurance needs. And it's all at Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. 4-0, Steve.
Yeah, it's interesting. If I give you a stat sheet, and you'll just look at the stat sheet, you didn't watch the game, and you would see, okay, 100-yard rusher, Kaytron Allen, right? Got 111. If I tell you about the quarterback, Sean Clifford, 217 yards, hit 65% of his passes, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Wow, pretty good. 403 yards in total offense, pretty good. Shut out the opposing team in the second half, pretty good, right? I mean, all this is now 4 turnovers. You didn't turn over once. You created 4 turnovers. Got 13 points off the turnovers. Won the middle 8, end of the first half, start of the second half, 13-0, right? All this looks great, right? So if you don't see the game and just look at the stat sheet, you're like going, hey, all right, pretty good game. You know? And then when you're actually watching it, as it going, the first quarter, they look great. The last 3 quarters, it felt like there were moments where they were a quarter or a half step off. Not everybody, but the whole thing, it kind of just looked like that. But they're 4-0. And that's the bottom line. For James Franklin, he gets the ability to talk to his team where you can tell them, hey, you're doing this, you're 4-0, it's great now. If you want to be better, you got to do this, 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 and this. I mean, there are a lot of the long list of positives. The way Allen played at running back. Strange is still playing so well at that tight end spot. And Kaytron Allen was terrific. You know Joey Porter's really good on the one side. I thought Kalen King played a great game. Jack and I named him the player of the game. Played a great game. Zakee Wheatley made plays. I thought P.J. Mustipher played. I thought after P.J. played really well at Auburn, he played even better Saturday against Central Michigan. Beeman may have had his best game. Chop Robinson played really well. You know, Dennis Sutton got a couple of sacks in the game, which does a world of good for his confidence. I mean, so there's a long list of positives. Long list of positives to take a look at. But, again, in watching it, it felt like the first quarter they came out like gangbusters. Boom, they're getting it done. You know, two possessions, 2 touchdowns, 2 3-and-outs. Great. Okay? And it just felt like the final 3 quarters that there were moments where they looked like they were a quarter step off, maybe a half step off. You know, just enough to be not totally in sync. How about that? But it's enough to win. On a weekend that was so strange, Georgia beat Kent State. Kent State is not as good a football team as Central Michigan. I mean, Central Michigan's probably one of the top two teams in the MAC. Kent State is not. And Georgia won the game 39 to what? They won 39-22, something like that. They won by 17. Great. Right? Did enough to win. I watched some of the USC-Oregon State game. Now, Oregon State's a better team. And the game was up at Corvallis. But USC didn't play well. And Caleb Williams didn't play well. But they did enough, rallied, scored late. Williams hit Addison with a touchdown pass, won 17-14. Again, place kicking hurt Oregon State. Place kicking hurt Arkansas. And Little is a terrific kicker. I mean, believe me, you know how many Cam Little kicks I've watched? Because that's who Penn State played in the Outback Bowl. So I watched the tapes of the guy, then saw him in person. The guy's a good kicker. And he hit the top of the upright, like the very top. Right? We're seeing this in the NFL, too. The kicking in the NFL outside of a Justin Tucker, not great. And it's interesting in watching the NFL right now. Central Michigan played stack the box and played cover zero. In the NFL right now, they're playing two high safeties almost across the board because they don't want to be beaten by the deep ball. They want you to go out and put together in the NFL 10 to 13 play drives and inch your way up the field with the idea that when you get to the red zone, the field shrinks. So you get Green Bay beating Tampa Bay 14-12. You get Denver beating San Francisco 11-10. Wow. Now, the Eagles have had no trouble moving the ball. The Eagles have played terrific offense every game. Hurts has played terrific every game. They had no issue at all in any way, shape, or form with Washington yesterday. It has completely picked them apart. And they're off to a 3-0 start. Now, admittedly, the Dolphins 3-0 is a little bit better than the Eagles 3-0. It's just because of who they play. Again, the Eagles are 3-0 against a really mediocre schedule, but you only can play against the teams you play. You cannot help that. That is your schedule. And the Eagles are not only 3-0, but they're an impressive-looking 3-0 by the way they're doing it. Now, the Dolphins have beaten the Patriots. They've beaten the Ravens. They've beaten the Bills. That's a little better 3-0 in terms of the quality of what you've done to this point. I mean, I know you don't agree with it, but like I actually watch games. When I watch it, I actually watch with no bias. You sit there and go, no, the Eagles are way better than the Dolphins. No, Matt, slow down. They're not.
No, I completely agree.
But we'll see how it goes. I mean, and we'll see if Tua can play Thursday night. That's a weird one. I mean, that's a weird one. I mean, even the NFLPA is like, why was he put back in the game? I think he tried to go to the wrong locker room. That's not good. And they've got the Bengals Thursday night, so we'll see what they do there. It's amazing what Hill has done. Hill, Waddle. Wow. But you notice the scoring is down in the NFL, 5 points a game. And I think a part of that is that too high safety look that everybody's playing right now, which is the defense that they think can at least take away the home run ball. Very interesting. And then Judge, this circling a fogged-in airport, can't get it done. Albert Pujols, he's believe it or not, since mid-August, you realize Pujols has only hit one fewer home run than Judge. Did you know that?
No, but it makes sense. He's been on a tear lately for the reason why the Cardinals are playing well again.
I mean, he's been hitting great. Let me tell you about the state of the game. Giancarlo Stanton your guy, has struck out 95 times or more, 11 of his 13 major league seasons. In 22 seasons, how many times has Albert Pujols struck out 95 times in the season?
I'm going to say 1 or 2.
None.
There you
0.
go.
Never has. Never has. By the way, and I'm kidding about Judge, I did not think he would, against the starters of the Red Sox, I did not think he would hit a home run. And here's the reason why. Waka keeps the ball. Waka's pitched really great this year. Waka keeps the ball down. Despite all the junk that Hill throws, he keeps the ball down. And Bayo, the kid, keeps the ball down. It's just more difficult. Although he hung that one. I mean, and to be honest with you, Judge was not close to a home run this weekend. Wasn't even close. I mean, the one he hit to the warning track in center field, yeah,
that wasn't getting out.
Hernandez just jogged back, got to about the quarter part of the warning track, and just kind of waited for it to come down. I don't think he is. I don't know him, but I don't think he's pressing in any way, shape, or form. It's just the way he's pitched. That's all.
I mean, look at the game last night. He had good at-bats, and he did what he needed to do. He got a key double last night. He worked the walk, so I'm glad he's taking that approach. I'm glad he's not trying to kill the ball. That was always my concern, but this is how he is, and it's good.
No offense, it's not a key double. You can't. Okay, you are the number 2 seed. You cannot be better than the number 2 seed. You cannot be worse than the number 2 seed. It's all about him right now. It's not a key run. It's a game that doesn't matter to them.
I just think it's still important for them to be feeling good about themselves and playing good baseball heading into the postseason, considering...
Even their own players know it's all about him. Come on, they all do. Every person knows it's about him.
I know, but I also think it's still very important that the Yankees have won 7 in a row now.
You got to go to foreign soil. You couldn't get it done at home. I mean, they handed you the Pirates on a silver platter.
Oh, yeah, well... I had a feeling that would probably happen anyway.
How about this? This is the 50th anniversary of Roberto Clemente's 3,000th hit. Okay? You want to know how many people were in attendance on a Saturday to see that game? 50 years ago? 13,000. Yeah.
Probably more than right now for the Pirates.
Get the lingerie on the deck. Call the janitor.
Nothing's changed. Now, you do know Aaron Judge played a period of time in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre. And Donnie Collins is going to join us in the next half hour, so we're going to talk Penn State football, but I will ask about Aaron Judge. And I'm going to do it to appease you because, like, you're flying on top of the world. And, of course, at the end of October when they're out, they'll crash down. When the Eagles are first-round elimination, it'll crash down. I mean, see, you get yourself into these sugar highs, and then you go cold turkey, and it's like,
Always
to the Mets. All right, can you get a new one? His voice is a little too high pitched. All right, or at least a little older. I mean, come on. We'll come back with more in a moment. Great to have you with us today on News Radio 1070 WKOK, brought to you by Purdy Insurance.
When car repairs get difficult.
Well, I just don't know.
Me neither.
We get good. Sunbury Motors. More than quality new and used cars, Sunbury Motors specializes in complicated auto repair diagnosis. They can handle intricate repairs and even complete auto body with service open Monday through Friday, 7 till 4. And Sunbury Motors has made simple repairs easy. Maintaining your vehicle is necessary. Finding the time to do it is difficult. Welcome to Sunbury Motors Quick Lane. Open 7 till 4, Monday through Friday. Just walk in or call ahead. Relax in their remodeled waiting room with Wi-Fi, beverages, and snacks. While Sunbury Motors factory trained techs take care of your oil change, tire alignments, brakes, and inspections. Quick Lane, 6:30 to 6, Monday through Friday, Saturday, 6:30 till 2. Sunbury Motors, Ford and Hyundai, North 4th Street, Sunbury. And Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. We take the out of auto repair.
Taking your calls at 800-795-9565. This is The Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now, from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Maybe they should have him bunt. No?
He's got the speed.
I mean, just to kind of so the bat and the ball like does something productive. He is a great all-around player. I mean, what I really like about him is that he is a hitter. He's got a slight uppercut, which he should have, but he works and works and works, and he's made himself into this kind of hitter. You look at him defensively, everybody tells you he works and he works and he works and he works, and he's made himself into an outstanding defensive player. Now, getting Harrison, he was mic'd up last night. That's the same guy I talked to when he was with the Spikes. It's like, okay.
He's been really good since he finally returned to the lineup.
But he's a good player.
Yeah.
He's a good defensive player. He's a good hitter. I always knew he loved the Yankees because, he told me he loved the Yankees because he grew up there. But Judge everybody tells you, is a great teammate, great clubhouse guy, really great with people. I think people know his story now that, look, he was adopted. He was adopted when he was a day old, when he was about 9. I believe his brother's adopted too. But he noticed that, after a while, he got to ask the question, I don't look like my brother. My brother doesn't look like me. And so they explained to him that, hey, look, you were adopted. We love you. And right. And his parents instilled tremendous values in him. And he's just a terrific person by all accounts that, and by the way, carries I'm trying to think what it is. I don't know if it's a bracelet. There's something that he has that has the number 179 on it. And you know what that means. Okay, I'll explain that to Yankee fan. Jeez, I've got a Yankee fan. You don't even know anything. You don't even know your own guys. You don't even know your own guys. Jeez, you probably didn't even know he was adopted.
No,
all right,
God. No, senor. No, senor.
That was his batting average his first year with the Yankees.
There we go. Shows a little motivation factor. That
I'm
makes
a
sense.
Red Sox fan. I know more about your guy than you do about your own guys. That's bad. God, Mike, what do you want to know about Jalen Hurts? You probably don't know anything about him either. The Red Sox fan has to tell the Yankee fan who his guy is. Oh, God. All right. I'm just kidding. It's good to have a little bit of fun on the show. At your expense.
As per usual, but that's all right.
All right, let's bring in Donnie Collins, Scranton Times-Tribune. Donnie, welcome. Great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
I throw a stat sheet in front of you, and you didn't see the game. Compare that stat sheet to the game you watched.
Yeah, it's a tough one because I think James said it best after the game. Every stat, and I think it's probably the first game all season where they won. They hit every one of their goals. Statistically, they dominated in areas that they always want to statistically dominate, and it just didn't have that feel to it. It wasn't. The look of the game wasn't dominant, but in defense of Penn State, they're up 14-0, and I think that, as much as anything else, took a lot of the starch out of them. It's and Central Michigan's pretty good. I don't think they're a bad football team. They played the Sun Bowl last year. They won it, I believe.
They did.
But yeah, that's the defending MAC champion, co-champion, whatever it is. So and Lou Nichols is a quality back. I think the quarterback is pretty solid. So I wasn't surprised they came back, but I think they let the foot off the pedal a little bit or too early in the game, and that's what happened. But still, it's a convincing win if you look at the statistics. And at the end, I think that's important to note because that's where a lot of people are going to look at this game down the road.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a pretty good win.
Right. Going into the season, I was talking with Jack, and he said, what do you think about the two games, Ohio, Central Michigan? I said, well, Central Michigan, is a lot better than Ohio. This is back in July. And it proved out that way. But it just seemed like after the 14-0 lead, and this is just me, it just seemed like everything was like a half step off. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought that, and look, I don't want to point out to one play, but they throw the pass to Liam Clifford and they lose the yard, and I thought to myself, that's early in the game to do that. Maybe I don't know if they had that pre-planned or what it was, but I just thought at that point you throw in that play on 1st and 10 at your own 10, you lose a yard. It kind of set up a couple of bad series there, and Central Michigan scored the two times they had decent field position. They scored. Yeah, they found the end zone, and when they didn't have decent field position, they didn't score. They couldn't. They really struggled to move the ball. So I think if you take about 10 minutes out of that game, the Penn State would like to have back. I thought they played pretty well, and you can go back and look at moments in the Auburn game where hey, that looks like they played a perfect game, and they did, but a lot of things went their way in that game, and some things didn't go their way in this game. So I think it was I think there's just a couple of minutes there you would like to take away, but other than that, I think you're playing a team that could win the match. I thought they did a good job.
Look, they won. Georgia played Kent State. They won by 17, 39-22. They won. I mean that's like check next. Kaytron Allen. There's been a lot of talk, and justifiably, about Nicholas Singleton. It's always been, hey, look, Kaytron Allen, don't forget about him. Okay, he had the 111 on Saturday. He's the Big Ten Freshman of the Week. What did you think of him?
Yeah, I thought this against Auburn. Now, Singleton, obviously, a much more dynamic athlete than anybody Penn State has on offense, where he's going to, at any point he touches the ball, he could take it 80 yards for a score, and that's extremely valuable. But I thought against Auburn, Allen looked like maybe more of a complete running back to me. I mean, that cutback he made, on the 3-yard touchdown run to score, I thought that showed me some vision and some feel for the position that was beyond his years. So it really wasn't all that surprising to me that he goes out and has a game like he had on Saturday, where he looked like a complete back. I think he's going to get. He doesn't have obviously the breakaway speed. Nobody's advertised that he does. That Singleton has. But if you want 4 yards, Kaytron Allen is going to get you 4 yards and get you 5 yards. He's going to wear defenses down. That's what makes this running game a lot better. It's not just necessarily Singleton to me breaking off 50, 60-yard runs. It's Allen being able to get 5 yards when in the past they would get 2 or 3, and then it's a big difference with your running game when you're putting yourself in third and short consistently. And I think that's really been, to me, the moral of the Penn State story through 4 games this year. They've been in much more makeable third downs, much more consistently. They've run the ball pretty decent, and the offensive line looks a lot better because players behind them are a lot better.
And to me, there are a lot of check marks I can go on the positive side from this game. Brenton Strange played really well again. Abdul Carter continues to be a big plus. Chop played well. Dennis Sutton got a couple sacks. Curtis Jacobs. If you're opposite Joey Porter Jr., you're going to get more attention. What did you think of Kalen King?
I thought he's been terrific all season. There was a lot of talk, they didn't throw at him in the first game. Well, sometimes you throw to your strength. And in the first game, Charlie Jones is a strength for Purdue, so there was a lot of Joey Porter coverage here, and I really thought that showed off what Joey Porter can do. But in the last couple of games, Kalen King's been tremendous, and I thought the forced fumble was. Now, first of all, that's what happens when you complete a pass on the guy. He just goes right for the football. Right. He's tried it every time. But I thought that was a tremendous hustle play. It really sealed the game for them. But he's in one-on-one coverage. You're not going to throw the ball up to. I don't care how good the receiver is. He's going to win his share of battles. So I think King's been great. I think Pro Football Focus, and I don't put a whole lot of stock in that, had him as the number 1 cornerback in the country for his performance on Saturday, and it certainly looked pretty good to me. I think he's a very, very solid player all around. But the more they throw at him, the more you see. He's kind of like Porter, not long arm guy, but he's got a he's got a real feel for that position and a nose for the ball. And they just don't throw at him a ton. But they don't throw at Porter a ton anymore either. You'll notice.
Yeah, I noticed that. Penn State. The special teams part, I think a lot of people have discussed, but let's discuss this part because part of it's turnovers, takeaways. But Penn State's a plus 584 yards on field position right now. That's about 146 yards a game, a football field and a half. I mean, Donnie, it changes the dynamics of the game when you're getting that kind of advantage that you, by the way, are creating.
Yes. Yeah, and I asked a couple of questions in the beginning of the season about the kickoff units and the punt team because I thought that was a big question mark coming into the year. I mean, Jordan Stout wasn't just a good punter. He was maybe I want to say maybe. I think he was the best. He was the best
punter in the country. Look, the guys that got a line drive, the ball hits, dribbles 25 yards, and everybody goes, "Oh, look at the average." I'm like, "Oh, jeez."
Yeah. Look at the net. Look at a lot of things that really matter just as much in punting as anything else. But even on kickoff, it had been a year since anybody legitimately returned a kick against Stout.
Right.
So I thought, you have you don't have that guy anymore. What do you have? We don't know. Now, Barney Moore has been great.
Yeah.
He's been far better than anybody could have ever imagined he was going to be. And he, I won't say he won them the game on Saturday, but he sure made it so they couldn't lose. He's got that punt was fumbled because Barney made that's fading hard toward the sideline. That's a tough play to make.
Yep.
So they get the fumble and the score off of that. But then he pins them at the 6. He pins them early in the game at the 3 when they absolutely needed it. And that field position was shaky for them a little bit there. To that point, so the point you're trying to make, the one time all year where they had a real field position disadvantage, Central Michigan scored back-to-back touchdowns.
Yeah.
So it makes a huge difference, and I think James has kind of mentioned a couple times this year that the kickoffs aren't as consistently deep as he wants them. They aren't as consistently in the direction he wants them, and that'll get better. Those two guys are young; they're not quite there yet. But if Barney's going to punt like this is going to be a team that can still continue to dominate field position. And I think punting is way more important with field position than kickoffs are. It's just one of those things where your punter has, you could choose when to flip field position if you have that kind of a punter. So, I think he's been a major plus for this team. And I think to me he's probably been the best punter in the country this year to me.
And again, I can tick off a long list of positives from Saturday. But again, it just had the feel of it just seemed like the last 3 quarters, maybe a quarter to a half step off here, quarter to a half step there. I mean, but they won by 19. So now I have to ask you about Aaron Judge. He played at Scranton Wilkes-Barre. What was he like? Everybody says he's just a great guy. What was he like to deal with, and what was he like at Scranton Wilkes-Barre?
No, he is as personable a guy and humble. You would never. And now we didn't think at this point when he was here. It was 2016 around there. He was here for a couple of seasons, but we didn't think he was going to be this kind of player. We thought he could get 40 home runs just because he's massive. We thought he was more of a Ryan Howard guy, another guy we had come through Scranton years ago.
Dave Kingman.
Exactly. I thought he'd strike out way too much, but the one thing I knew about the guy, the way he works is off the charts. He would anybody who had an idea for him. He would take it into the cage and try to work with it. And if it didn't work, he bagged it. Thanks for your advice. But he's really gotten very good over the years at cleaning up his weaknesses. And he had a bunch of them when he was here. I would tell you straight up that when he was here, he was the second best power hitter on the team. That Gary Sanchez was a way better hitter than Aaron Judge was.
Yep.
But Judge has really worked himself into being a tremendous hitter, and he's obviously 6'7". He's built like he's Rob Gronkowski's size.
Yeah.
You see Gabe Nwosu going down to kick. That's Aaron Judge's size. That's as big as the guy is. So, he's got the athleticism, but when you stay humble and you work as hard as a guy like that does, and you don't have any superstar, what's the word? It's superstar tendencies is the best way I can say it.
He doesn't have superstar swagger. He's like one of the guys that's a really good player.
Yeah, I've had a lot of discussions with him. He's from kind of the area where my wife is from, so we kind of had a lot of talks about where he's from. He's just a guy who's from a very small town. He loves his hometown. He loved his college. We went out to a vacation out there a couple of years ago, and he's like, yeah, send me a picture of Fresno State. He doesn't forget where he came from. He doesn't forget his struggles. He doesn't. He tries to put his successes away, but I think he's really relishing this whole scene, and not relishing it to the point where he's going to let it go on for 6 days, which he has. But, I think he's really trying hard now, and he needs to kind of. I think what he's going to say when he finally hits this is he just try to get back to hitting some line drives. But tremendous guy, and I think part of the reason people are into this, because he'll admit this is not the record. I don't think this is the record. It's the American League record. Yeah. But I think the reason you're cutting into games, if you're Major League Baseball, to show this guy, is because he's exactly the kind of guy you want. You would prefer to have this record rather than where it is right now. He's just a tremendous guy, and I wouldn't be happier for anybody else in the game to be in this position.
Yeah, I mean, for people who don't know, just quick cliff notes, Aaron Judge was adopted, 1 day old, adopted. When he was about 9, he's kind of realizing that, I don't really look like my brother, right? Because I think his brother's adopted too. And so they explained to them that, you're adopted. Loved it, embraced his parents, did a great job raising him, and he keeps something. I don't know if it's in his locker or it's on a bracelet or something. It's 179. You want to know why he has that? That was his batting average his first year with the Yankees. He wants to remember what it was like when he started.
Jeter was like that too. Jeter was here for a couple of weeks, but his big story to the AAA guys when he was here rehabbing for those couple of weeks was 56. That's how many errors he made first year. Yeah. The great ones don't forget their, as much as they don't want him out there, they don't forget their struggles. And Judge is he's not a natural, but he has really worked himself into being somebody who can, who he's always loved the game. He had football scholarships. Yeah. He had more football scholarships than you could. I mean, Fresno wanted them. Notre Dame, he said, wanted them. But he remembers 179, and that's what drives him. And the great ones thrive off their struggles. Yeah. They don't rest on their successes.
And he is a great defensive player. I mean, he works hard at his defense. This is not a one-trick baseball player. He is a really terrific all-around player. He didn't go to Staten Island, so he never played against the Spikes. Gary Sanchez did. He played against the Spikes because he was at Staten Island, but not Judge. But I knew you covered him. He was there a couple of years. I know you know him. That's why I wanted to ask, especially when he's on the threshold of history. Donnie, always a pleasure. Really appreciate you a lot. Great work as always.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Unbelievable. 56 errors, big number. Yeah. Then they got a first baseman, and Klein cleaned it up. Don't let the facts get in the way of your fantasies, man.
But when it comes to Judge, he better be the MVP.
Don't let your... Oh, no, Ohtani is. My goodness. It's not even close. I mean, that's not even a debate vote.
No, senor!
My goodness.
No, senor! No, senor!
How many wins does Judge have on the mound this year? Any? Does he have any wins on the mound?
Irrelevant.
Pitching's irrelevant? You paid $36 million for Cole.
Exactly.
I mean, pitching's irrelevant? No, of course, Judge is a unanimous MVP. I'm just playing games with you. He is the unanimous MVP by a wide margin. And what he has done for the game desperately needed Aaron Judge to do this. And you talk about the right guy, right time. I have not had the pleasure of meeting him, but everything I hear about him is what Donnie talked about. He is the right person, the right time, and he is easily the unanimous MVP of the league. Not even close. I mean, it's not even a debatable thing. Anybody who's debating is just doing it to write a column. We'll come back. Rich Scarcella next half hour. By the way, Dave Ennett, play-by-play voice of Northwestern, joins us on Wednesday here on News Radio 1070 WKOK, brought to you by Purdy Insurance.
The weather is getting cooler and the leaves are changing in Central PA. Hi, this is Susan from Purdy Insurance. If your current agent is falling short, it's time to give Purdy Insurance a call. We're a local, family-owned independent agency ready to find the right insurance to fit your needs. You can call us at 570-286-5855, stop in our office on Market Street in Sunbury, or head to our website at purdyinsurance.com to find out what we can do for you.